So this is video 3 for my Game 370 final. The test occurring in 2 hours. So we are looking at the shaders now, which we've already looked at the graphics objects, and each graphics object corresponds, each of the different kinds of graphics objects here corresponds to a different shader class here, obviously. So let's get down to business. So this is the shader that takes in a texture and also reacts to multiple lights. Now, first off, we have the light parameters here for the spotlight and directional light and point light. Now, to take in multiple lights, at first I had an array of light pointers for the spotlight and directional light. However, I ended up taking that away because it wasn't 16-bit aligned. So I instead decided to just do a maximum of 3, whereas I did have a maximum of 6 of each. And the reason I chose 3 is because it's a lot less code. As we can see in the point light parameters, the difference between the original for what you gave us originally and this one is that I take in the light number and switch based off the light number which settings I add in. Obviously, I do the same for the spotlight, which settings I add in. It's in the camera matrices, light parameters, world and material, and then, of course, the fog. So for the fog effect, I have a struct for fog data that has the fog start, fog range, and fog color, and then obviously the buffer, which I set all the way up. Where are you? Here. And then obviously I zero the data. So this is the constructor that we're looking at now. Sorry, I keep hopping around. Here is my layout. Yes. Now I go and I set context here, and then down in the delete. Where is the delete? Delete. I think it's all the way at the top. Yeah. Here I release all of the buffers, so no memory leaks. Let's switch gears real quick to the HLSL. Sorry. And this is what that looks like. Obviously, it's all here. It's the fog stuff, directional light, point light, spotlight, the regular stuff. Now in the light parameters here we can see the difference of multiple lights. I have 3 point lights, 3 spotlights, and then obviously the fog data right here. Yeah, these are all the same things, same formulas you gave us, spotlight and stuff. And then here down at the pixel shader is where things start getting changed. The compute light parameter. So directional light, since I only have one, only gets computed once. However, I do compute the point light 3 times because I do it once for point light 1, once for point light 2, and once for point light 3, and just add it up. Same with the spotlights. Spotlight 1, 2, 3, add it up. And then the lit color here. Now, here I start in on the fog things. If there is no fog set, so if all of the values are 0, fog start and fog range are 0, as they would be if the user did not set fog, then it would not be visible, hence the else, and we would just multiply the lit color by the main texture sample. Otherwise, we run through the fog demo-like code, the only difference here being that the base color is the lit color times main texture.sampler. So that's the HLSL. Now moving on to the regular color multi-light, as you can see, extremely similar. The only difference here is obviously we don't use texture, and instead we use colors. However, I also use 3 point lights in this and 3 spotlights. Same, where is it? Same fog data. Sorry, I spent a little time trying to find that. Same fog data layout. The actual layout, as you can see, obviously different because we don't have a texture. We use the color multilight.hlsl and then create our buffers, zero out our lights, release all our buffers. Now we send the cam matrices, directional light, spotlight. As before, it is the same with the light number. A switch statement goes through. Now, one thing that I did think of actually about 10 minutes prior to starting this video was that I could have made and should have made a base class for the multi-lights and had that inherit from the shader, and then it could be, I could eliminate this code or the duplication of this code that occurs between the multi-light texture and the multi-light color. If I had thought of that earlier, I would have done that. However, as I said, I thought of it 10 minutes before starting my videos. So then, obviously the spotlight parameters. There's spotlight 1, spotlight 2, spotlight 3, exactly the same as the texture. Send light, send world of material, and then send fog parameters. Set the context. Yeah, and we already saw the render functions in the actual graphics objects. Sorry, kind of blanked for a second. Sorry, Alexa went off. Okay, let's go to the color multi-light. Sorry. So here we see the material, the Phong things, all of this exactly the same as the texture. The only difference is we don't have the texture or sampler in this one. However, we do have the 6 lights, the 3 point, and the 3 spot. Fog parameters, very standard, same things as you gave us. And now the pixel shader. Once again, we compute the directional light only for the one because we only have one directional light because those are normally used for like the sun. So we're not having 2 suns. And then point lights, spotlights. And here we see a difference in the actual code where instead of the main texture sampler, it's just lit color. And lit color is just returned instead of in else. And that's them. Yeah, I think that's just about it. This is the shader texture without the lights. Obviously, the only difference is there's no lights. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And then obviously the color with no lights. Now I do also have shaders and graphics objects in here that only take in 1 light. I felt it was necessary to have as many options available to people that they wanted. If they wanted to just be like, okay, this can only be affected by 1 light and 1 light only, such as something that's, let's say, glowing, then we just have that. So here's the world color, and here is the color with no lights, obviously. Shader base, I didn't change this, so nothing is going to be changed in here. Yeah. So that is my final, but I'll just scroll through the texture. Once again, I didn't change anything in this, but just to show you that it's the most recent, I suppose. Yeah, I do want to quickly demo the fog because I realized that when I was showing the final scene, I didn't demo the fog very well. So now if we look at our tank and look at our background, we can already kind of see it. I'm pointing with my finger. I already kind of see it right here on our background, the fog kind of starting to set in. And then now we can really see it. The fog on the tank. This tank gets brighter, and the fog on the this. Now, what might look like the fog is actually affecting the skybox, but that is actually just the skybox that I received. It's supposed to simulate where the Earth kind of touches the atmosphere, but very far off. See, we can get real close to it, and it's the same. It's kind of immersion breaking, though, when you can see the corner. So now we can see the shader, or the fog, really in full effect here. I didn't set any fog for the regular graphics objects, just to showcase that there's not going to be any fog on there. But we can see that this tank is obviously affected by the fog, while this tank is not, because this tank is closer. Yeah. I learned some real cool stuff in this class. Had a lot of fun. And thanks. That's my final video. Goodbye.